Hey, what's up everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you how to repair a broken extension cord or power cord. So first I'm just going to go through a list of tools or items that you're going to need to perform this process. But first here I have a pair of wire cutters. So you're going to need a good pair of wire cutters so we can strip the wires down. You're going to need a screwdriver. In my case, I need a flathead. Typically, these come with flathead or Phillips kind of options. These are pretty old, so they came with flatheads. I had them on hand in the box, so I went ahead and going to use those for this example today. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to replace a male end and a female end. And then the only other thing you're going to need is a broken power cord or extension cord. And so as you can see, this cord actually the ground broke off. Maybe you have a vacuum cleaner or something that you were vacuuming and didn't realize you were at the end of the cord and it came out the wall and one of these broke off. But whatever your case is, I'm going to show you how to properly fix these connections using these connectors that I have right here on hand. Alright, so in addition to this ground being broke off of this extension cord, I also have some tape back here where the cord had gotten cut or sliced or spliced or something, some kind of a way. And so you want to make sure that you keep that taped up, because if not, if you have this cord plugged in, you can touch those wires if they're exposed and actually get electrocuted. So I'm going to show you how to kind of eliminate that. Since this ground is broken off anyway and we've got to cut this cord, it's not much more to go ahead and cut about a foot off and get past this break in the cord so that we don't have to worry about that becoming a problem in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it right there at the tape to try to save as much cord as we can. So this is only maybe like a 1 foot section. It's not that much, so we're going to go ahead and cut that off. If that was in the middle of your power cord, you would be cutting your cord significantly smaller. This is about a 25-foot extension cord, and so it wouldn't really be that great. If I had to cut it in the middle, it would be like a 12 and a half foot extension cord. But for this is, it's going to be like a 24-foot extension cord. Now it's still going to have some pretty good length on it. So we're going to go ahead and remove that so that this doesn't become an issue later on. All right, so I've got this unplugged, or I've got the plug cut off, rather. And you can go ahead and actually just throw this away. Or if you collect wire, if you're collecting copper or something, it's not really worth that much. But if you have a whole lot, you could stockpile it in there. But after you cut that plug receptacle off, you'll notice you have 3 wires in there. We got a green one, a black one, and a white one. Okay, so you're gonna have to kind of get those suckers exposed before you begin to replace the plug. So what I'm gonna do is, as you can see at the end of my wire cutters, I have this blade. I'm actually gonna put the wires in the cutter and I'm gonna roll the cutter around, just cutting the surface plastic. So you can do this also with a razor blade if you don't have a good set of wire cutters. A razor blade can do it. You just got to be careful with these things. That way you don't damage the cord on the inside even more. Some wire cutters will have a bigger size on them. So as you can see there, I just worked my way around slowly. What you want to make sure you didn't do is puncture the wires. If you look closely, none of these wires are punctured. They didn't get cut or anything while I was going around, because if you go too deep and you begin to puncture them, you'll be exposing the power again, and kind of, it could short out or, arc on you, or you, even worse, you could get electrocuted from not doing that properly. So make sure, inspect your wires. If you did puncture the wires, go ahead and cut it off again. I know you're wasting a little bit more cord. Cut it off again and then do it again, and make sure that you get a good clean connection without cutting into the new wires. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to strip each wire. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these in the last hole there, or the second to last. I think that one, it's a little small. And then you crimp and you pull. Okay, you see how that wire, that copper wire, now became exposed. So what you're going to do is you always want to twist it up. You're only cutting about maybe 1/4 of an inch or so off of the wire. and then you're going to twist it up, because you don't want to, if you don't twist it up, the wire can get kind of frayed like, and then you're not making a good solid connection. And then we're going to do the same for the next one. All right, I'm going to twist it up. And the ground. Green is always the ground. Twist it up. All right, so now we've got our connections split, okay? So now what I'm going to do is we're going to switch over to our actual connector here. As you can see on this back side, that's where the extension cord is going to sit inside of, and this is going to clamp down on it. And then the wires are going to be attached inside here. So we're actually going to take these screws out right here. All right, so now that we got the screws out, you'll see this piece slides out, okay? They've got a little notch here that indicates where this is supposed to sit in. So make sure you line that notch up when you're putting this back in, so those screws will align with the holes. And they're pre-drilled, you know, set in there for you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this piece, leave this one on the side. We're going to take this piece and kind of close it together, and we're going to slide it through. Now, if it won't fit in there, you can actually loosen these right here, these screws, so that it will be bigger, so that you can get your cord through. And then you don't want to tighten it yet. You're just going to leave it on the cord, so that you can deal with what you need to deal with before we go to the next thing. All right, so now we're going to look at this. Now, this receptacle has some holes right here. These holes are making connections with the poles that are out here. And so you see each hole, you'll put a wire in each hole. So the ground is always going to go on the bottom. See this bottom piece? This is our ground. So we're going to stick the green one in there. Okay, and then we're going to tighten it down. Also, when you stick your wires through, make sure they don't get displaced, because you already have twisted them up. Make them nice and tight, so they make good, clean connections. And you see there, that one's got that one good. Just make sure you tighten it real good. Sometimes these are color coded. This one might be green, this one might be white, this one might be black. But if you notice here, it's not actually white, but it's gold. And then we look at the other side, and it's almost black. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put the black one in the hole that's pretty dark there, on the darker screw. And we're going to tighten that one down. Okay, got it good and tight, got a good connection. Make sure none of your copper is exposed as well, coming past here. That way, you don't have a chance of shorting it out on one of these screws or something. That's just a quick tip. And then lastly, the white one is going to go over here. We're going to put that one on the gold side. Actually, kind of got these a little tangled up here. All right, so make sure you get twist it up good. There, tighten the screw down. All right, so now your wires are secure. So now all, your plug has been replaced. You're back to having a ground. So what we're going to do now is actually put the cover back on. So before you tighten this back piece, though, you need to make sure you get your plug set where it needs to be. So remember that groove I was telling you about? We want to work it all the way around to the groove. Okay, we got the groove, got them set. Okay, and now we're actually going to tighten down this top section of the plug. So we're still not securing the power cord onto the connector yet. I'm going to make sure we get all this taken care of first. Also, you don't want to cut your wires too long, so that your orange extension cord would be hanging out, and you were on like your 3 separate wires. If you do so happen to cut it too long, trim the the front wires so that you're not as long. And that way, when you clamp down on this sucker, you're clamping down actually on the orange part, not on the 3 individual separate wires. That will give you a higher chance of, you know, not insulating. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull this all the way forward so you can get as much slack as you can. Don't pull on it too much. And we're going to tighten it down. Make sure you tighten down both sides. Get it nice and secure. All right, and so that's how you would replace your power cord if you had a problem. This is before, where the ground was broken off. I also had a piece of tape covering where it was frayed or cut a little bit, and so some of the wires were exposed. And now none of that, it's solid cord all the way, and none of that is in the way. So now quickly I'm going to show you how to do the other side. It's pretty much the exact same thing, but I'm going to walk you through the process just real quick again, so that you know how to do either end. Okay, so this is the female end. So first things first, you go ahead and cut the cord. I'm going to cut it back. I would cut it here, but if you could see, I don't know if you can see, this has got a little bend in it. Looks like the cord's kind of getting a little twisted in there and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off just so that we don't have any problems with that in the future. And then you're going to strip your wires. I'm going to go a little bit quicker this time for the sake of time. Strip your wires. Pull that off. Strip each one individually. All right, I'm going to twist them up. Then we're going to take our connector, undo these screws. Pull this out. All right, and look and see which one's dark. So you want to make sure you put it in the corresponding hole. So if you, for some reason, you put the white one in the black side, you want to put the white one in the black side on this one, so that the power will be running on the same sides. But you also want to keep the colors coordinated where they're supposed to go. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of put these in. Actually, these are a little short, so we need to go a little bit longer on this. Just around. Okay, make sure I didn't damage any of the cord. Okay, all looks good. All right, twist these up again. Kind of got a little displaced. Okay, so we're gonna put it through here. Make sure that you get your wires through. Okay, put that piece on. If not, you'll be taking it back apart to put that on later. And then we're going to put them in their corresponding areas. As you can see, this one's green. Got the ground. Okay, we'll tighten that one down. This one's might be a little bit more trickier for you because you don't have a you know, a thing sticking out to kind of show you which one's what, but you still have the shape of the hole, so you can still pretty easily figure out where they need to go. And there's the white one. Tighten that one down. And lastly, the black one. Alright, so again, now that we've got that taken care of, we can put in our other section to kind of cover up those wires that have been exposed. So again, line up that notch and slide it in. And then we're going to tighten down these screws. And you can purchase these connectors at Walmart, Home Depot, your local hardware. Most places, just, find the electrical section. They'll have a connector. There's different grades. Some are better than others, but they're pretty easy to find. You don't have to have any kind of special store or anything. Just the electrical section, Home Depot or hardware will have plug outlet connectors or extension cord connectors. So, all right, got that good and tight. Got our cord secured. All right, and there it is. That is how you repair and replace an extension cord or a power cord. Like I said, you don't have to do both sides when you perform this action. I just went ahead and did it for the sake of the video. This one really was okay and working fine. But like I said, this one did have a ground missing. So if you're in a situation where you've got a tear in your cord or, a bad plug that has broken off the ends, all hope is not lost. You can actually repair it, fix it up, and get it working again pretty cheaply just by getting some connectors at your local hardware or Home Depot. So, all right, I hope this video was helpful. Please rate, like, comment, or subscribe. Good luck to y'all working on your extension cords.